Hello, everybody. This is Gary D. Just want to double check that you can hear me. Welcome today to session number 5. We're going to be checking our audio levels right now. So can one of you on here please type in the bottom chat box that you can hear me okay? Greetings, everybody. Gary D here. Just need to hear from you. Okay, thank you, Joanne. I appreciate that. We're going to be getting started here. And while we're waiting for people to come, we need to, I want to clarify up a few things. I also want to put a little time, 30 seconds to a minute, for any of you to post any questions that you may have from the 4 sessions that we've done already. Today's session number 5, and we call it making your presentation, but really what it is we're sitting with a PR or executive administrator. We're going over, who we are, what we do, and what we want to do for them. And we're trying to separate ourselves from everybody else as probate experts. Okay, so take a little time, a minute or so. If any of you have any questions on any of the sessions that we've had up to date, go ahead and list them in the chat box below, and I'll answer those, and then we'll get into session 5. Thank you. Okay, how about now? Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. Are we okay? Somebody type in if you can hear me now. Testing. Okay, good. We got it fixed. All right, guys. So I'm going to go back here. So the probate timeline, what we're doing with this particular PR now, we're sitting down with them, is we're explaining to them. And we rely heavily on the probate process because we're coming in, we want to establish a posture that we're probate experts and talk about things. Of course, we're going to get to values and all this stuff in a marketing program and whatever, but that comes later. First of all, we want to, when we have their attention, remember, attention lasts about 10 minutes. So in that 10 minutes, we want to cover probate stuff with them. And we're going to go over the petition for probate. I'm going to go over some of these things with you, okay? We're going to explain to the PRs and trustees that, and the executors of the estates, that we are their online source. Now, this is some older files here. You know, they need to be upgraded. It's about a year or so ago. But right now we're closer to 600 transactions closed, 30 plus years in probate experience, and we're letting them know this. We're setting our posture right now, and we're going to talk to them about options. This is your key. The key to the estate is not that I want to list it and tell them all about all the awards you won and you're the best listing agent ever. You know, everybody says that. I'm number one. I'm number one in my office. Okay, well, there's 3 agents in that office. You're number one. Doesn't mean anything. Okay. And yes, there could be people that do a lot of business. That's okay if they do a lot of business. But what we're talking about is probate. So we're going to go over the petition for probate with them on how we found out about their information and everything about the property and why they're getting a lot of phone calls from people and flyers. We're going to talk about the certified letters that you learned in prior sessions. And this is the signing authority that they have, that they can sign over the grant deed when we bring them an offer or we list it and an offer comes in. We're going to explain to them the notice to creditors. Remember, on the day that the PR is approved to be the executor or the administrator, that's the day they become certified and they can do something with the property. They have the signing authority, but it also starts the 4-month creditor period, which means they can't close this probate for 4 months while creditors are out there being notified that if they have any type of invoice that the deceased owed them, this is their chance and time to get it in. And if they don't, they lose that right. Well, that means if somebody's offering to buy your house and going to close you out in 30 days, if they're not telling you that you won't have access to the money because your probate's still going to go on for another 6 months, 4 months left for the creditor period, plus another month or 2 after that to close out the probate. If that agent or investor that's coming to you that they want to buy or list the house is not explaining this to you, Mr. PR, then they may not be the agent that you want to deal with or investor that you want to buy, because that clearly demonstrates that they're not a experienced probate agent. Bernie, are you okay now? Bernie, you okay? Can you hear me? Okay, if any of you are having trouble with the hearing, that's what you do. Go out and then come back in. You should be okay, because most of the people are hearing this. We have a lot on here today, so hopefully that'll get straightened out. But if you have any hearing issues, just go out and then come log back on, okay? Now, also, we're going to talk to the PR about the estate bank account that needs to be open with the federal tax ID for the deceased. This is all handled usually through the attorney's office, but because we're there so early and the attorney's office is not even thinking about them selling the property yet, if they're going to sell, we help them with that, opening the account. All they need is their certified letters, and we'll take them down to their local bank account and open up an account in their name, the PR's name, and the deceased name. And the letters of certified letters is their authority that the bank will accept. And now we just did them a great service, because when escrow closes, if they sell to us or if we list it and sell it, all the funds are going to have to go to this bank account. They did not have use of this. And we make sure the PR understands this because we don't want them going out and buying something or telling the heirs that, yeah, your share of this $500,000 sale is about 100 grand and we're closing escrow in 2 weeks. Fantastic. And then that person makes plans on their 100 grand coming. Now we got a fiasco when they find out they got another up to 6 months to wait. So because we're professional, we're establishing that to them. Now this works for two reasons. It shows that you're a professional on top of your game, and it also hits home because we tell them if whoever else you're talking to is not bringing this up to you, they are probably not the probate expert agent you want handling it. So when that comes up with another agent, if they're interviewing, or an investor that's bringing wants an offer, or an agent with an investor bringing an offer, and they're not talking about this stuff I'm going over with, that's going to hit home with them. Hey, Gary told us this guy didn't mention about the 4-month period, nothing. Maybe we better not get involved with them. Let's call Gary. Okay? We're going to talk to them about letters in, if they have full authority or limited authority. Now, you should know by now with the sessions that full authority is what we're looking for. That allows the PR, once they have certified letters with full authority, they can basically do anything they want with the assets of the estate, a few parameters about the funds having to go to an account, things like that. But they can sign the grant deed and sell the property now. If it's a limited authority probate, they can do a lot of things with the estate, but they can't sell the property without court confirmation. And we really don't want to go there if we don't have to, because that's where it's 10% deposit up front. They have about 3 months to get through the process to get to the court confirmation. They got to do a lot of things with their due diligence and maybe spend money on inspections or whatever. They won't have their final loan approval if they're getting a loan because they don't have a signed contract yet with the court approving the sale. And a lot of lenders won't commit to the loan until they have that. So remember, if you're buying at the court confirmation, you have no contingencies. You do if you're the offer going to court and you have time to do things before the court date. But once you're at the court date, if you're awarded that property, you better close because you're going to lose your deposit if you don't. Plus, if let's say that you sold it to your client, you went through this 3-month process and they spent some money on inspections just to see what they were buying, they're ready to go and they show up at court and there's 10 other people there to bid on the property because they were getting a good buy on it. And now they didn't get the property, somebody else outbid them, and now 3 months has been lost. They will get their money back, their deposit, but not if they spent anything on the reports. So you need to know what you're doing, but the first thing we do is try to avoid court confirmation sales. Only if we have to will we go there. And by have to, I mean maybe we bought a property, maybe it was $1 million property that we were able to buy at 90% at $900,000. And it was appraised at $1 million, but we know it's really worth $1.1 million. The appraiser was off because it's not a licensed certified appraiser. So we're sitting on 200 grand there equity, and we might be able to sell that to a buyer that wants it, a landlord or whatever, and show up in court. Or we have a retail buyer that wants that particular area and that house fits perfectly, then we'll go through the court confirmation. But what I tell all students and team members is when you start tracking probates and you start calling, that if you find one that has limited authority and that fits a client, then just reach out to us and we'll walk you through that deal with you. We'll split the deal if you're an agent. If you're an investor and you're trying to wholesale it, we'll work something out, okay? So we're going to explain to them also what the title company is going to need. And again, if your agents that you're interviewing aren't bringing this up, you're dealing with the wrong people, and it could cause you problems. They took a course someplace and found out how to get leads of people in probate, and all they're doing is doing their regular real estate presentation, hopefully to get a listing. Doesn't mean they're not good agents. They could be great agents. It means they probably don't have probate expertise, which has hurt the estate in the long run. So we're going to explain to them that the title needs these certified letters, and maybe we're talking to them before their date to get certified letters. So we'll let them know that when those come in, we're going to get a copy to the title company, certified copy. You could do everything with us, all subject to those letters coming in. We can get your listing done. You can sign my offer, but it's not legit until certified letters are in. But we can get all that paperwork out of the way. So in 2, 3 weeks from now, when you get approved, we're ready to go. We're going to explain to them what the NOPA is. Notice of Proposed Action. That's the NOPA. That is the notification that the PR, the executor administrator, has to give out to any heirs that have interest in the property, that they've sold the property for X amount of dollars, and here is the terms. Now, we use this a lot. Number one, we use it if whoever you're talking to is not talking about NOPA, again, a warning sign. Because when this NOPA goes out to the heirs, any heir has 20 days to say they can test the sale. They don't agree that this was a good deal for the family. If they contest it, everything stops. So you may have sold the house and now you have a problem because it wasn't handled right. They didn't even look at the NOPA. And when it comes up, you didn't have a protection that we put in our offers that it's subject to all this stuff that I'm talking about right now. And most agents that don't have the expertise in probates, this is the way they do it. It's all they know. They treat it like a regular sale. Now, of course, they'll say, well, the attorney will help me and all this stuff. Yeah, for the most part, the attorney will end up helping them, and most of them are caught before there's a problem in the end run. But if you're up front presenting why they should list with you or take your offer and all the reasons for, and still in that PR, if the other agents that are interviewing aren't bringing all this up, do you really want to work with them? In hopes the attorney will pick it up before you have a problem, okay? We're going to explain that the federal taxes have to be in order. Now, there'll be a statement that comes from the estate attorney, and it's handled through us with title company. We asked for this. This is really no issues here. Now, the NOPA is also an insurance policy for your PRs, because your biggest stumbling block is going to be the PR worrying about what the family is going to say if they sold the property too cheap or did something wrong. It's not so much the best price they got. It's more so, I don't want anybody in the family coming back and saying I sold the property too cheap, or I didn't do these things right, or whatever. So what we do is we're instilling in them right now that the NOPA is your insurance policy, because before anything is going to be concrete with this offer that we bring you, or that we list it and get an offer from another agent, before any of that is concrete, this NOPA is going to have to go out. And if they all agree to it, you know you are home free, and they're going to set a plate for you at Thanksgiving table this year after the fact, because you did a good job, because they're happy with what you did. And if there is any issues, we can deal with it before we lock into a contract and have some problems. Now, what we do with the NOPA, if there's no other heirs, now we're doing one right now. We just took a listing. Cynthia, one of our agents from the San Jose area, and Elise, who's kind of like a right-hand girl to me with probate. She's been with me a long time. We took one for $1.4 million in the Campbell area here last week. And that's what we're doing, because the executor is the sole heir. We're getting a waiver, a NOPA signed. Then we don't have to wait the 20-day period for nobody to contest. And we just let the attorneys know and title know is this is a sole heir. Get something from the attorney and a copy of the waiver, a NOPA, and we're done. We're home free. If it has to go out to all the heirs, then you got a 20-day waiting period, and you can't do anything with the property until you check to see if anybody's contesting, okay? Again, this is all good information. Most agents don't know that are trying to work probates. They have a certificate that tells them that they're a certified probate expert. But most of those that I've come across don't know anything about probate, and most of them are coming to me to be trained correctly. You can't learn this stuff just in a book, folks. What I'm giving you, and I tell everybody, is foundation. My manual that I give everybody, that's the foundation. You learn that. We learn by doing deals together. And whatever that takes you, whatever you're at. If you're local, I'm doing together with you, going on the deal. If you're out of area, you might be in Florida or Minnesota where Dirk is, or Nelson in Las Vegas or whatever, we could do this all online. And I help you and walk you through this. And then once you do, on average, about 3 of these, you'll kind of know what's going on. If you're out of state, we have to check your state to make sure that the procedure is the same way as California. But keep in mind, California is the strictest state to work this system under. There's 2 ways to probate property, a bunch of other red tape things. Everywhere else is pretty much equal to or way less in a process. So if you're out of area, we'll help you find out your area. I don't take the time to research every state. I do it as deals come up out of state, because otherwise I'd have to charge an arm and leg for all the time and research it takes to do that. We just adjust as we go. All right. We're going to talk to them about what happens when escrow closes with them. Again, that the money's going to go to the estate bank account. You are not getting that $500,000 in your hand, Uncle Joe, when escrow closes. I don't want you to go out and buy anything or commit yourself, because it could be another 6 months. And this has happened before. And everything I have learned in this probate niche is because of things that have happened and what I learned, so it doesn't happen again. And I had a situation where the heir was getting about $400,000, and he went out and bought a $350,000 property up in the mountains, his retirement dream home. And he didn't realize he had to close in 2 weeks to beat out another deal. He didn't realize that, hey, you're not going to have access to this money for probably another 4 or 5 months. Oh my God. You know, I bought it non-contingent. I didn't handle this for him up there. So I had to get involved, and I had to arrange to get him an equity advance on the property. We ended up doing it. I had to get the attorney involved. Attorney didn't like it, but we worked it out. It cost the estate an extra $10,000 to do this, because I had to use hard money bridge loans to make it work. And so it was a costly heir, but the guy was still happy because he got his retirement home of his dreams. And it was free money to him anyway, so who cares? It cost an extra $10,000 in his mind, right? He got his house. So by being professional, we set all these conversations up front, and I start at the time I'm sitting with the PR up front. I'm laying the groundwork of, you know, almost to the point where they're ready to shoot themselves because I'm talking so much. I want them to really get to the point where we've heard enough. You know, you're the man, or I understand thoroughly. And they know that the next guy that comes around who doesn't say all this info that I'm passing to them, is all they know is probably not the right gal or girl or guy. I'm going to call Gary. I'm going to stay with Gary. Okay? That's what we're doing here. We're going to talk about attorney fees to make sure they understand how they're calculated. It's a statutory fee. And I was told by some paralegal guys and LDAs, licensed document associates, that are a step above paralegals, that attorneys can't negotiate their statutory fee. It has to stay that way unless the court negotiates it. Now, I've seen a few that have brought it down for specific reasons, but normally it can't. And so I let them know what the formula is, and this is what it's going to be. I also explain, and more importantly here, is that statutory fee is also available to you as the executor or the administrator. Did you know that? I did not know that. Well, if they're sole heir, it doesn't matter. They're getting everything anyway. But a lot of times you'll come across a personal rep who's doing this for the family. They're not getting any of the inheritance. I did one in Oakland like this. Great guy. It was a tough one. We had family members contesting what he was doing, and people got into their ear and said, no, the property's worth 700, not 440. And we had to go through a bunch of changes there. And we finally got it closed, and I shared with him up front that he was going to get a statutory fee in this house, and I think it worked out to be somewhere around $7-8 grand. And he was thrilled. It still wasn't worth his time, but he got it. Okay. And where this really comes in handy, if you know these fees and it's a short sale situation with a probate, you can approach that executor or administrator or PR and let them know that, hey, do you realize that this property is worth 500? I think I can get you, somewhere around $10,000 statutory fee out of this if you let me handle the short sale. If you're going to sell the property, not walk away from it. Really? That opens up a conversation. I've done many of those. Okay. All right. And we're just going to let them know this is a website that they can actually go on mine where I'll have a bunch of information on probate and some short videos and whatever they do. But we're trying to establish that we're the people they want to deal with. Everything we do is about options. We tell them it's not about us being the best listing agent and that's it for you to sign with us or we got the best offer. It's about options, about you knowing, Mr. PR, all the options that you have. So all the heirs are going to love what you did for the family. And that could be an all cash right now, closing 25 days or less as is. Or it could be one of our no commission programs. I do that for a reason because they love that. Doesn't matter if the family's getting 500,000 free money, but if you're getting a commission out of it, a lot of people have problems with that because they think we're all overpaid anyway. They don't understand how hard we work for those of us that make good money in real estate. They just think we're overpaid and they're getting free money and they want, so we take commissions off the table. It's a no commission program. Are we getting paid our commission? Yes, we are, but not from the seller. We have an MLS exposure program. If they want to put it, we can go as low as 3.5% on this. Okay. And there's a way we do this and a reason that we do this. It's just we're trying to get rid of all the other agents that are coming in there and they'll do it for this, they'll do it for that, or whatever. We actually have a sliding scale on our commissions, whatever they want to do. And it can be a full-blown remodel of the house and we advance all the fees to do that. But they're paying for that. That could be as high as 7%. Okay? We have a flat $999 program for 900,000 and above programs if that's the way they want to go. But it's still full service, but it's minimal as far as what we'll do at the property, cleaning up the property, enhancing the property, staging the property, a bunch of other services, okay? But that resonates with a lot of people because everywhere else, maybe that million and a half property, they're looking at a lot more money, 20,000 to 30,000. How does this 999 work? Well, we'll show you how that works, okay? How many times do we actually do that? Very little, because usually the $1 million houses above want more, or we're not listing it. They're just going to take an offer. But if it comes up, we'll live with that if we have to. We'll take the 10,000 because we know we're going to have a good chance to sell the property ourselves, pick up 2% there, make another 20, so that can end up being a 30,000 deal for us. And if it doesn't, and it's just a 10 grand, so be it. 10 grand's not too bad of a payday for what we do. We have a fix-up program like I told you about. We'll advance all the money to fix up the house. I'm not talking about a trash out and paint to trim and stage like most agents do. I'm talking about a full remodel. New kitchens, new bathrooms, new roof, new windows, whatever it takes. As long as the equity position is there to warrant it, it has to be a hard money type of situation. So with any liens they have on the property plus what we're advancing can't be any more than 70% of the value of the property, just like a hard money loan. And we'll do that. There's no payments on it or interest. They pay a flat fee. And it comes when escrow closes, okay? These are all options. We'll give them frequently asked questions. And this form will allow them to read the questions that most people ask and get the answers on that. You notice right now I haven't talked anything about the property yet. I might be into this presentation with you guys 30 minutes right now. I could be 30, 40 minutes with the PR right now. I'm going to go through the PR and show them everything and where all this information that we got, how we got it, how do we know about the property address, how do we know that there was a loan out of a 25,000 that shows on page 2, right? That we'll ask them, why did you put a value of 400 in this property where everything else is showing 750? We knew he was right because where the property was located, Zillow or Redfin or any of these valuation, third-party value sources you're using doesn't take in consideration condition and actual locality, where in Oakland, some neighborhoods can change a block or two drastically in price. And that was the case here. And this was not in the area that they thought the $750,000 homes would be. This was in a $400,000 to $500,000 neighborhood, and the house needed a lot of work. This particular guy knew what he was doing. He also was a pro per to start with. That means he did not have an attorney representing him. When we got through with this, After all the headaches, we put our attorney on it, and we did this deal. And the guy was thrilled because after a year of continuances, he was able to get the deal done. Okay. And again, we'll show him where all the heirs are listed. That's why your heirs are getting letters from people that want to buy the property. You know, if anybody that's looking at it, we're going to talk to him and show him duties and how this particular form duties is where his phone number was. And that's why you're getting a lot of calls, including me. But if we can get this deal worked out between us right now, we'll stop all that, because we can get what I did on this is we had a new petition done with my attorney, and we put my attorney's phone number on here. So anybody calling is going to my attorney, and they field the calls and send them to me. And now they have to deal with me. The PRs will love that, because sometimes they're getting, even though our competition isn't as bad as regular real estate, there's still a lot of people out there that have taken other courses, or they think they know what they're doing, or they've taken my course, and they're getting calls to the estates and they don't know what they're talking about, and all it's doing is frustrating the estates. So what we have to do is, counter that, what's happening. And that's how we do our presentation. Let's stop all this madness and get you going. We show them what the form that we'll be looking for if it's not done already, if he hasn't been approved already. We're going to show them the letters and how we need this. And once this is done, it's going to give you the authority that the title company wants for you to sign the closing documents. And the main document is the grant deed. Okay? And you can see here about halfway down to the left, it says the personal rep has the right, is authorized to administer the estate under the Independent Administrations Act with full authority. Okay? All right. This is where we go over the estate fee schedule. I explained to him how the fee is done for the attorney and for him as the executor, or if it was an administrator. And it's 4% of the first 100,000 of value, 3% of the next 100, 2% of the next, and then it's 1% up to $9 million after that. That's pretty much going to cover anything you're dealing with, okay? So you can figure out right away what the attorney's fee just for the house is going to be. And they don't take in consideration, let's say the house was worth, just say $300,000. And if you look at that, it would be $4,000 on the first 100, then 3, then 7, then 2. So it's $9,000 attorney fee just on the house that has a $300,000 value, but they may owe $200,000. So they really have 100 gross, less commissions and fix up. They might be coming out of 80 grand, but the court charges them on the whole value. Bogus, but that's the way the court system is, and they have to live with it, okay? And then I'm going to go into, now I showed you all the probate stuff, and I showed you reasons. I'm always hammering this back and forth. There's reasons why you want to make sure whoever you're looking at that might list a property for you or bring you an offer, you got to know who you're dealing with on that probate stuff. And what we want to do, Mr. PR, is to let you know who you're dealing with. Now, I'm Gary D. Here's my biography on probates. I'm going to leave this with you with the package. I head up the team. That's why it's me. Even though Carolyn or Ray or Elise was your original contact, I head up the probate side of things with the group. That's why we're letting you know who I am, because the probate side of this is the most important right now. I give them my resume. And if you don't have all this stuff, I let my students use mine. So you'd be showing, this is our probate team leader. I represent the group in Oakland, California, in Redding, California, wherever you may be. And here's our team leader who will be handling all the probate side of things. I handle the boots on the ground real estate side of things, and he'll be dealing with the estate attorney. Here's my references that I give them. People I've done business for 30, 40 years with. The real estate attorneys that I've dealt business with, and they trust me with their clients. Okay, individual letters that a couple attorneys have given me. And then I'm going to go, that was the second one here. And then this is powerful stuff. I got to get those letters updated because it's 2018 now. That was 2015 and 16, I think. I give them this flyer, how to interview a probate real estate attorney. It's real estate agent. Very important that they understand all the stuff that I've been hammering home on them. Make sure you know who you're dealing with. Even if it's coming from the attorney, real estate doesn't necessarily mean that's the best guy for the estate that's going to give you the best service, the best deal. It just means that that agent has a relationship with the attorney. So the wise thing for you to do, Mr. PR, and I'm sure all the heirs would appreciate it, is that you're interviewing a few agents, with us being one of them, and then go with the one who's the most qualified, who's going to give you the best deal, and all important, who you feel the most comfortable with, because we're gonna get in bed together for the next 3 months or so, and we want to make sure that we're going to have a good working relationship. It's very important. So you go through these questions, and then we got the answers there. The answers are what my team brings. Okay, very good flyer to use, and you all have access to this stuff. You just have to put your own branding on it. Okay, if you're an EXP agent on our downlines, you have access to all of this. Okay, so you just have to ask for it. And then we go through a few things. This is a video that I do and kind of talks to them about the property. I send them to this website, and it just kind of explains things that we do. You can go to probatehomepros.com and just check it out later, and there'll be a bunch of things. Now, those all have to be updated because they're a few years old, but it's still the same message because the rules and laws haven't changed in probate. Okay. All right, real quick, let's just take a little inventory here. Everybody hearing me okay? And any questions right now? I'm going to give about 30 seconds to do any questions before I get into this flyer. So just let me know, put a message in there if you have anything, okay? Yeah, I muted Richie while I was waiting for questions. So, okay. All right. So you got that. You can check it out. Now that's going to be updated to 2018, but it's still pretty pertinent. Has most of our programs right there, so you can go through it. Here's a flyer that we use. In fact, I just put a package together today. I'm going on a San Francisco probate appointment tomorrow with Ray Marquez, our state broker. It's about a 2.2 to 2.8 million duplex in San Francisco. Great area. And I'm putting the package together. This is one of the forms that's in there. Everything that I'm showing you right now is what we're doing for tomorrow's package. It's going to, when we sit down with that PR. But here's some of the things that we do. Home guaranteed sale in 14 days. Now, this is not, really testing the market, right? Almost anything today can be sold in 14 days if it's priced right. And we always try to get the listings priced a little bit under market so we can bring more interest and get multiple offers. And we have a 14-day offer date. That allows us to have 2 weekends. We open them Saturday and Sunday each weekend. So that's 4 opens plus a broker open. That's usually all you need to do. And we're guaranteed we'll sell in 14 days. And what's the guarantee? We'll walk away if we don't. No big deal, right? We're not saying we're buying it. I mean, we will, but then they're going to have to sell it to us on our as-is program, at those parameters that an investor would buy. We're going to give them a course. Everybody has free estate home valuations. Now, I go a step further in this. What I do on my $1 million and above properties, so you'll know, like this one we're doing tomorrow, is I pay for a licensed certified appraisal. It'll cost us $450, but it's money well spent because in these $1 million properties, prices can fluctuate a lot. This particular one is showing from 2.2 to 2.8. We think it's worth closer to the 2 million range, but we don't want to be off. And we've been beat out many times over the 30 years by agents who just throw them out a number that they want to hear. I've always tried to be professional and give them a number that I think I can deliver. Well, a lot of estates don't want that. They're hoping on the most money they can get. And some agents will just put it up there for anything, get the deal. They let the market bring the price down. 6 months later, it gets to where it should have been in the first place. But normally, what happens then is the estate gets less of an offer than they would have had if they priced it right to begin with. So we explain this all to them now, but I tell them because of those tactics and because we're dealing with $1 million and up property, we're going to provide you, if you list with us, a certified license appraisal along with our CMA. We're going to do that as well, like any agent would do. But we want to make sure we're nailing this price for you. So we're going to do a licensed certified appraisal. And especially if we're going to remodel the house, we're going to throw in all those improvements that we're going to have. We're going to get the appraisal based on those improvements. And we're really going to lock the price in. They like that. We're going to talk to them in this flyer about the fix-up program. No upfront cost to them. It's a great deal. We'll trash it out. I have property liquidators that I use. Personal property liquidators will come in. They'll do a bid asset. They'll do a appraisal on all the personal property. They'll hold a consignment sale and sell it for them. They usually take a third of it, or they'll buy everything of value, and we trash out the rest. That's all included in my service. Letters of recommendation, you saw some of those. And then what I do, you don't have to do this, but I put a 10% donation on my listing commission in the estate's name to the St. Jude Children's Research Center. That's the cancer center for children. I'm a cancer survivor, many of you know, almost 20 years ago. And ever since, I've been donating to St. Jude. And I do it in the estate's name. And it could be any charity that might be important to the family or to the deceased. It doesn't have to be St. Jude. But if they don't have any particular charity, and I'm telling them all this, then I'd like to do it in St. Jude. The family's going to get a certificate from St. Jude. It has the deceased name in there. And it's just a great momentum for the family, okay? It's feel good for everybody. So that's a great flyer that we will use. And now what I'm showing you on my flyers is I'm going through this with the PR when I'm sitting down, but these flyers we also use on our drip system when maybe there wasn't a phone number. We couldn't speak to that particular estate PR, but we're sending them these flyers, every week or every 2 weeks, whatever we want on that particular, okay? All right. All right, is anybody else having echoes? Because I'm being told there's some echoes on this. Let me know. Is it too loud? Okay, if anybody else is having echoes, let me know. All right, so this is a great one. I used to use this when I farmed, and back in the day, not probates, but just regular subdivisions. I used to get, leads all the time off of this. I have a retail buyer for you, so I'm getting away from just the investors that are calling, who has an offer for you right now. Contact me today. Now here I put the estate home because I'm utilizing it for probates now, but you could in the day just say sell the house right now, save you thousands of dollars because there's no commission charged to the estate or to the seller, as is. And I do my donation thing here. Okay. Sellers love no commission. And no matter how much they're pocketing, they love that. Now to get your foot in the door, and then your expertise has to do the rest of it. Here's our fix-up program flyer that we use, and it tells them what this again is for is to get a conversation going, get you in the door. Many agents cannot do this. There was a company, I forget what they were called, and that's what they did. They come in and they would fix up the seller's whole house. The difference is they bought the house and gave the seller a price, and they made more than 50% on these deals. It wasn't a great deal. I had a probate that I lost to one of these companies, Renovation Realty, I think they're called, and they ended up, netting way less than we would have brought them, but that was their choice. They got sold a bill of goods. So with us, the fix-up program, no money out of pocket. A lot of the estates want to get as much as they can, but they don't have any money to fix it up. So we cure that obstacle, and we counter any other agents coming against us on this, because we're going to do it all. We're going to remodel the house, not just paint the trim and trash it out. We're going to remodel it. We'll stage it. If it warrants it, there's enough equity in the property that makes sense. And for every dollar that's going to be spent, they're going to pick up $2 to $3, then that makes sense. This will get you in the door. Okay. The estate keeps all of the net dollars from the sale. The cost of fixed repair comes out of the seller. We put a lien against the property for the amount of the advance. The one we're doing in San Jose is 70 grand. So we have an investor bringing in 70 grand. We're checking now the payoff to make sure, and this one it's under 600,000 on the first. So with our 70 grand, it's going to be under 700,000 will be owed against the property. That will be worth 1.4. When the remodel's done, it's probably worth 1.25 right now. So that's certainly enough equity that if something went wrong and we had to end up in foreclosing the property to get the money back, there's enough equity to do that. And these are 6-month notes. Now what happens, this will squash the obstacle that you get back is, no, we're going to fix the property and we're going to sell it ourselves and get most money. We don't want to sell it to your investor or any other investor. Great. How are you going to plan to finance that? Do you guys have the money? Because for this size of a house, 1,500 square feet, if you don't have major inspection work, you're probably looking at 40 to 50 to totally remodel it. I haven't seen it yet. It could be less, could be more a little bit, but somewhere around that, about $30 to $33 a square foot. Well, we're pulling money from the family. We're going to get it. Okay. Well, listen, if you don't, we have a fix-up program ourselves. I'll send you that paperwork. We provide all the money up front. You're still paying basically a normal commission. That's it. It's not a loan. There's no payments, no interest. Oh, that'll get you to sit down and talk to them about the property. Now, normally what happens, out of every 5 that I sit down with this program with, 4 of them will end up saying, you know what, this sounds great, but it's prolonging everything, a couple, 2-3 months. I got enough on my plate with this probate, Gary. Just give me a fair as-is deal. I want to be done with it. I want to liquidate this property and just deal with the rest of the probate. Okay. And for the one that wants to do it, we do the program, and they reap the benefit. They make a little extra money on the property for doing this. We make a little bit extra fee. We pay our investor, and everything works out. This will get you, and it's designed to get you the appointment and sit in front of them. Okay? This is another good drip flyer that you could use if you haven't had a chance. And then I go through what you can expect from us, top dollar, in-depth service, top dollar if they're looking retail, the assistance that we do every step of the way, peace of mind because they know we're experts and we're going to keep them out of trouble with our addendums, estate savings, depending if we're doing a no commissions or the repairs up front, and great communications because we set up all of our estate listings or sales with weekly conversations that keeping them in the loop. Because believe me, majority of PRs going through probate have very limited communication with the estate attorneys and their office. Most of them are so frustrated with this. So we're a breath of fresh air, okay? Now, these are a couple other things at the Probate Home Pros, some of the other stuff that we do there. You'll see it if you go to Probate Home Pros. Then we're going to start getting into the property now. Finally, right after a long time, 40 minutes, we're getting into the property. We're going to explain to them, this is what the tax roll tells us about your property. And that everybody has access. We're going to tell them, this is what the third party valuation came in on your property. Now, this guy knew that it wasn't worth that. It was only worth 400. But this was close to Temescal area in Oakland. If you know that area, that's a high price dollar value area up there. But across the street within a block or two is a different part of Oakland, and it brings a lot less money. He knew this because it was his research, but of course Zillow doesn't do that. And a lot of the heirs or the PRs will use these numbers. So if you're talking 400 and they're seeing 877, they think they're leaving 400,000 plus on the table. So you got to understand that and be able to explain value when you're sitting down with them. In this case, it didn't take much because he already knew, but I go through it. I explain to him the comps in the property and show them what the like comps for his property is. That number was wrong from Zillow. I explain to them and show them MLS listings. Here's one around the corner from you, 365,000. Okay. basically the same house close to it. It was an REO, need a little bit of work, but so does yours. We go through the values for Redfin, for Zillow. Now, this is a different property. Okay, so I'm jumping around on properties, but this is how we set it up. This is a property that we've been chasing in Atherton, and we show them that Redfin shows it at 2.58, Zillow 2.8 million, what the price per square footage is in that area. This is all found online. Subject value square footage shows a price of about 1.65, and the subject value at $1,443 a square foot, which would be the high-end sales, shows a 2.1. So right there alone, we brought this way down from 2.8, 2.5. And then we gave them some comparable sales, one for 2.4, one for 3.6. And I'm showing them these high sales, but I'm also showing them that it's 3,000 square feet, 4-bedroom, 2-bath. And that's why I use it. I show them what the median value is in their area, 1443. That's where I got that number above. What the median sale is going over listed price, okay? And I told him that your property is basically a tear down, lot value only, because the house was in disrepair. Never had anything done to it. It was just in the best location you could be, Atherton. The pool had to come out, was sitting on a 1/4 acre, great upside, but lot value only. We brought this guy an offer of 1.4. I got it up to 2 million was the last offer. And then the guy went missing in action. The attorney quit. He's not even practicing law anymore. And we've been searching for them now for a year and a half because we have our $2 to $2.2 million buyer for this property. And that's just part of it. Do I give up on it? No, we keep trying to track this guy down. And I was told by the attorney he had at the time that he lost his wife, very elderly gentleman, and took it very, very, very hard. So who knows where he is mentally and what has happened, but no heirs. So it's just something that we continue to try different things to get a hold of them. But the point is we're breaking down the values. And I go through, here's another property we did in San Francisco on Cresta Vista. Show them again all the values. I showed them a fix-up rehab cost, what it would be, projected costs. In our opinion, it'd be basically about $100,000 when reports come in to fix this. Investors' value. If the property is worth $1 million and 70% is what investors normally pay of ARV, then that's roughly about $700,000 less $100,000 fix up. You're looking at $600 to $650 that somebody's going to pay you if the property is worth $1 million. And I said, yeah, a retail buyer can pay more. I'm covering everything here. I'm not telling them and only showing comps for the price I want them to take it. I'm showing them everything, high and low, in between. Because I may not get this for our investor to buy it. I may get a listing out of it. So I'm talking about everything with them, price rise, and I'm showing them. Okay, I break it down. And then the last part, please take our offer serious, blah, 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 blah. This is what we do. I think there was another one I made. So this is my offer letter and explaining all the details and what we do. We have an offer for, again, this is another property. This is a property in Hayward that we did. Our property, our offer is basically $500 net to the estate. My client was buying it, so he was going to pay me my commission on top of it. And there we go. Okay, so I really break down the numbers with them. I don't just say, this is our price and I support my price. I tell them, this is what you're looking at. Yeah, if you sell it for $500,000, there could be a lot split here, and the guy could build another triplex on it. There's a big upside. My question to you is, do you have the wherewithal to develop that? Do you want to do that? Well, then let's try to get you, if this 500 is not enough, let's put it on the market, see if we can get you a little bit more. We don't have to buy the property. I want to do the best I can for you. I can sell my investor something else. And when you speak that way to people and they understand that you're willing to walk from the deal to service them better, you will get a lot more. Okay? Bernie, you still not hearing us? Bernie, let me know you can hear us. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Bernie, you okay? Testing one, two, three. Okay. Well, I'm sorry about some of you lost the sound. The majority, there's a lot of us on here today. Majority, it seems like you got it. This is being recorded, so don't worry about that. So that's it on how I do a presentation. Now, my new presentation that I have in hand. Remember, I took off 2017 with the move to the Central Valley, and we just started working again in 2018. We've been building the EXP Agent Wealth section of our business now. We have close to 80 in our group now, and I'm working with them to build a rev share, get them to be working for free first, the first goal, and then going for whatever they want from their rev share program. So I'm going through and updating things now. So my new presentation will be of record pretty soon. It will replace this session 5, some of it, because it'll go into a little bit more details. But all you got to remember is if you get an appointment on a probate, just call me, like Ray did. And we're going on that together tomorrow. That could be a $2 million to $2.5 million sale. We could each be making 20, 25 grand or more if we sell it ourselves. And it's great. Ray is so busy now, and he's still taking the time to make calls. He works with me in the $1 million and up range. And when we do these deals, I'll do it all with him because he's got his brokerage for the state duties, and we split the fees. Okay? But this is what we do, folks. And if nothing else from this session, learn and figure out and understand how we separate ourselves from everybody else that's might be knocking on that PR's door. Keep in mind, 97% of realtors and investors don't even know how to do that, don't know how to find that information. But there still is competition out there, and I've created most of my own competition because I've trained so many people. But remember, the way I did it is about 4 or 5 years ago, I turned that competition into my business because most of those people bring me their deals that they have found, and we do them together. Okay? So now, because EXP is exploding, we're almost 11, I think we just hit 11,000 today, agents, and where that is going, I'm starting to self-contain what I do to just EXP, to my downline. We are opening it up to other EXP agents. I know there's a few on here today because we want to share the wealth with all our EXP brothers and sisters. But those agents will have to pay for the course, but we're giving them like I think it's 70% off, and then they get it refunded back on their first deal. So we're not trying to make money out of them, but if we're creating competition for ourselves, we want to make sure that these people are going to bring their probate deals to us so we can help them get through that. And they do more deals, the stock value goes up. So it's kind of win-win for everybody. And we didn't want to exclude anybody in EXP on wanting to learn probates because I've been asked several times by the founders to, teach this. I did it once in one of the leadership meetings on a Friday. There was a lot of interest, but I just don't have that time yet because I'm building my own revenue share and taking it to where it's going to match my income to my biggest year ever. That's my first goal. And I know Ray's doing it, so a lot of other people are doing it. It's there for you. It can be whatever number you want. And what I suggest is your first goal, your rev share, and don't give up on it. It is more valuable than this probate is, because probates, even though you can make multiple 6 figures with probate, the key word is make. You have to keep going out and doing it year in and year out. Although if I'm going to be in real estate, this is the only niche I want to be. But with the rev share program, I will eventually match where my best income was with the probates without doing anything. Gary shared with you where my rev share check was last month, and it's going to be another big one this month, and it's growing. It's not Brent Gov status yet. Brent did that in 2 years. That got me off my butt. I was just kind of moseying along with this and letting it build slow. He did it in 2 months where he's at right now. Unbelievable. Couple mil a year now in rev share, and he's still keeping his real estate business going. So I'm building my rev share, and I'm spending time with the EXP agents that want to build their own rev share and helping them. We got these fabulous lunch and learns that we're doing right now. If you haven't seen Gary Jr. present, then you want to make, if you're local, you want to make one of our presentations. Now, this coming week, we're moving to Alamo. It's at the RPM Mortgage on Stone Valley Road West. And we'll be there at 11:30 lunch, 12 to 1 presentation. It's the most gorgeous office I've seen in probably 30 years for real estate. And it's a loan brokerage company. And Ben Torayan is Tim Feebig's nephew, and he's helping Tim build his wealth with his rev share, and it's one of our new sources. We'll still keep Pleasant Hill. We're going to be rotating now, and we're just getting ready in May. I think the date is the 24th. I think that's a Thursday. We'll do our first Castro Valley Lunch and Learn, and then we'll be rotating every month, 2 in Alamo, 1 in Pleasant Hill, 1 in Castro Valley, so we can get agents a little easier driving time to get to our events. But you want to be there. You need to come and see this location. The location itself will impress agents that you bring. Gary's presentation is by far the best I've seen in my 4 years, not because he's my son, as he's taken the time, and that is his forte with his television producer background and being in other companies where he used to present. He's put those skills to this. You really want to see that. We have people signing up on the spot. We had 5 or 6 new agents there Monday. All of them are coming in. Okay, 3 of them signed on the spot. So you want to see this. So come on out this coming Tuesday. Now this next week it's Tuesday because we're out of town Monday. It's my birthday Monday, but that's not the reason. We're out of town as well for some of the grandkids stuff that's coming up through school. So we're going to be, but then it's every Monday from then on. And ask us for the location. We do a Monday night, 10 o'clock. It's a little late, but that's our team meeting to get together, just chop on things about the business, about probates, about our wealth share, everything, happening. Ray's there, Marquez hosted with Gary Jr. You should be on those calls. You got to get engaged in this stuff, because by engaging, ever since we started engaging in January, everything for us has gone 3 times. My personal group has grown from about 25 to I'll be at about 85 personal, down in my downline by the end of this month. And Junior is approaching 8 on his first line in the last 60 days. And everybody else that is engaging is going bonkers, adding 2 a month plus agents. So agents need this. Agents need to hear about this. It's their chance to be their own exit strategy, not a broker's. And it's a no-brainer. And the type of agents that are coming over right now, these guys that are doing $100 million productions, and also agents that are doing 6 deals a year, they're seeing the value. They're sick and tired of what they're paying their brokers, getting charged for everything, for all their hard work that they do that floats this whole office. And now there's a chance for them to get it back. So you got to get out there and pass the word. Don't try to convince anybody. We're not looking for everybody. Just tell them, you got to come and see this. There is a much better way. If nothing else, come over and look at it and pick it apart to me, because I'm new over here. I want to make sure I did the right decision. And they'll thank you later for the ones that see the value. Okay? All right. So I'll get off my soapbox now. So unless there's any questions right now, I'm going to stay on for a little bit. Go ahead and post any questions that you may have about what we just learned today, about any of the past sessions, about our lunch and learns. Oh, we will be in SoCal on May 18th. That's a Friday. We are at the Beverly Hills Board of Realtors. Myself, Gary Jr. will be presenting. Ray Marquez, our state broker, will be there. We're co-hosting this with Derek Ruiz. He's an apartment broker guru, one of my best probate students, along with Ray. He actually is my sponsor into, I thank him every time I talk to him about opening my eyes on EXP. But we're doing a lunch and learn there. So if you have any agents in the SoCal area, we will take care of them for you. Let us know. We'll send you out the invite, and they can go. We're doing a 12 to 1 lunch and learn presentation. And then we're going out to the hotel on the beach, I guess the hottest hotel, for a happy hour from 5 to 7 right on the beach in Santa Monica at this fabulous hotel, bar, restaurant. And you're invited to send your agent clients over there. Your prospects is a better word, that want to take a look at this, because it will knock their socks off. And again, you're doing them a favor. Okay, nobody posted any questions, so thank you all for attending. I'm sorry I went over a little bit again, 15 minutes, but this is important stuff, folks. I am so hyped up right now what's happening with this business, and for us that are working, that are staying engaged in this. Our real estate business is still going good. We got a few probate listings this last month, the $1.4 million last week, this $2.2 million deal with Ray this week, tomorrow. We're still doing business. I just putting more of my time in agent wealth development for all of you. Okay? All right, Prudence, we look forward to meeting you too. You're a firecracker, and we want to help you build, and you're doing everything you possibly can to do that. So come on out and fill your car with agents. Bring them with you, and we're going to have a blast on top of everything else. Okay, everybody, thank you. Take care. Have a great rest of your week. Do it. Make it happen.